Hey everyone, how are we doing? And she leaves just as I go live. How's it going, everyone? How's it going? 1 second. I'm still setting up. I literally only went live because I was like, I have Millie on my lap. This is the perfect time to go live and say hi to everyone. And off she went instantly. Right, let me get some light going in here. How are we all? How is everyone today? Let's get some light. Sorry to blind you all there for a moment. You are EP Burb. Please send help. Do you know what? That is so valid. I am so tired today as well. I'm just gonna check that that is good. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay. You're sleepy. Well, that's unsurprising. You've had a week. I am also sleepy, and I need to get that over to that display. So let me just do that. I love that the moment that I hit go live, all of my tech breaks. I love it when that happens. Can you all hear me okay? Can I be heard? Let's get that going. There we go. Let me just check. I'm just gonna check. Am I connected? I bet I'm not. Oh, I am. Let's try and turn me up a bit. Is that better? It might be because I'm using this. I don't know if that's just like, if it's just got a mic that doesn't pick me up as well, maybe. I mean, I can turn myself up even more. I'm a little worried. Let's switch on that music. And I'm gonna get the music going up a bit as well. And then you tell me if that music's too loud. So hey everyone! Hey everyone! Do you know what? Actually, let me see if I can get the if I can get, because she's settled. She's settled up. See, it's like she knows. You know, don't you? The moment I'm thinking maybe I can get a millicam going, she's like, I'm out of here, bub. I'm out. Peace. Psych. You thought that you could get me in the camera frame? No. Like, the whole time I was doing this setup and getting everything ready, she was laid out on my unit. In fact, I'll show you. I had the cam set up like so, because she was laid right there. She was laying right there, and I thought, perfect. The moment I go live, I'm gonna be like, hey everyone, with millicam going. But the moment that she realized, she was like, nah, you're about to go live, aren't you? I'm moving. I'm out of here. Cool. So, I am live today on a Saturday. With a solo spotlight stream, and that is for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that I was going to do it on Thursday, and then I had a terrible headache, and I thought that was probably a bad idea for me to do it on Thursday when I was in that much pain. I want to do this game justice, obviously, so I decided to wait until today, because for some reason I have a Saturday off, which never happens for me, so it seemed like the perfect time to stream. So today we're going to be playing, or we're going to be looking through and kind of having a little go of Ironheart, which is a solo mech exploration tabletop role-playing game by Parable Games. Now, I was certain that I had Moobot turned on, and it was supposed to be sending little commands through every sort of 5 chat messages, but doesn't seem to be doing that. Let's find out why that is. Because I'd got this working. I had. Yeah, it's going by the timer. Maybe it's supposed to be chat messages from different people? Not sure. Regardless. Because it moved away. Very good. Let's see if I can get it working like this. There we go. So, today I am playing Ironheart by Parable Games. It's a solo mech tabletop role-playing game. Not my usual thing. I don't play a lot of sci-fi or mech games, but I do kind of enjoy them when I do. So I thought this is perfect for me because I really love cozy games, and this literally calls itself a cozy game. You create a pilot and its mech best friend, and you get to sail the stars with them, so you kind of get to explore the galaxy and get yourself involved in different story beats. And I have the you can get the demo from their, because they're currently crowdfunding, as you can see from the Moobot command that I just posted. They reached 100k £100,000 in crowdfunding, which is phenomenal. But if you have not heard of this game and you want to check it out, I've popped the link in the Moobot command. You should absolutely do so because it looks incredible. The art just looks so good. The concept's amazing. And you can get the digital sort of demo that they provide. You can get that from the crowdfunding page. But ooh, what happened there? I saw that something happened there. Very strange. I promise you I did not do anything to make that happen. I'm gonna keep an eye on this tech today, haven't I? I feel like it's doing its own thing. Streams haunted, yeah? Streams haunted. Or OBS. OBS is screwing around. That sounds more likely. So you can get the digital version of the demo or quick start, I guess, on the crowdfunding page. Or if you were lucky enough to attend UK Games Expo, you might have a actual physical copy of it. And let me look at that. Can you see that? Look at that art inside there. It's really cool. Really cool. So this is just the quick start. So I'm very excited about what the finished article, the finished product's going to look like, because this looks pretty good in itself, to be honest. Certainly at zine level, my understanding is that the finished article is going to be a bigger book, and it's going to be in a sort of a hardcover. The art's going to be really good. They're doing 2 books, I believe, because they've smashed past their stretch goals. One book which has got like the core rules of the game, one book that has what they call story circuits, which is essentially playable adventures. Within that, you have like story beats that you can go off, and there's like a finale, just to kind of help guide your thoughts. So yeah, like little expansions. And the demo actually includes 2 of these, and I'm going to be drawing some inspiration and using one of them today, just to kind of guide my writing a little bit. But so let's head on over to the writing page so I can show you. So this is the character sheet. I've really very, very basically started to fill it in a little bit. The reason these say +0, that might change, but for now it says to start them at +0, and then obviously you build up your pilot, and then that might change depending on the kind of pilot that you choose and the things that you do with it. So as you can see, I'm not just building a pilot, I am also building a mech for my pilot. And the character creation is actually going to be a really big focus of my stream today, because it's a really big part of the demo. And it's where they kind of focus quite a lot of their instructions on. And it's the bit... Honestly, it's kind of my favourite bit. I love the whole, like, it goes into quite a lot of, like, detail on how you kind of come up with not just, like, your pilot's background and their origin and how they are, but also the mech itself. So I'm kind of excited to get into that and figure out these numbers. You may have to do some maths with me, folks. And then we will see about starting on a little story. Again, I have hydration with me, and I'm going to try really hard to take a good amount of breaks. So maybe if we work on the pilot and the mech creation, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll start on the story, and we'll see how far we get. I just really want to show you some of the mechanics and everything. I always start these streams by kind of with a disclaimer. I'm probably not going to finish the entire story. Reason for that is I'm an avid journaler. I like to ramble. and I like to make my entries long, and that means that stories don't be getting finished in 2 to 3 hour streams, I'm afraid. So that's what these spotlights are always about. They're always about just kind of showing the kind of beginning part of the game and some of the mechanics, trying to show off to the best of my ability the mechanics of the game and kind of how it works, and then allowing you all to go off and discover these games for yourself and actually play them through to completion. Much to the chagrin of some viewers who are like, play more. Yeah, maybe I need to get on that because I do get a lot of demand for it. But yeah, if you're here with me today, thank you for joining me. And let's have a little look at this now. 2-part stream. Sorry, gotta do what you gotta do. Look. Look. I could think about this, you know. I still have, like, all my previous games. I started playing Dead Letter Society. That was my first one. The only one I've actually finished in a stream, and that's because it's using the Wretched and Alone system, where the ending is decided for you by the sort of like tumbling tower mechanic, is Mountaintop Isolation. That's the only one I think that I've actually like finished on stream. Oh no, wait. No, I finished sort of Dragon Dowser as well. But I will say that that is only because I happened to have one of the luckiest runs in Dragon Dowser ever. Millie, are you okay? I got a feeling that Millie might have seen a threat outside in the garden. It may well be, and if you were watching my last stream, you will know exactly who I'm talking about. It may well be Big Head Cat. Normal Head Cat. Bertie, as I now have started to call him a little bit, just because of my Be Like a Cat stream. Yeah, it could be Normal Head Cat. I'll let her. Literally, again, she kind of got up on the windowsill, and I was like, "Oh, could I show the Millie cam?" And then she bolted off. So she's clearly seen something that she's not particularly happy with. That's fine. I will let Millie do. Oh, hello, baby girl. Wow. Hello, darling. Why don't you come and give the people what they want, huh? They're not here for me. You know that. They're certainly not here for me. Come up here. I know you can get up there. Don't give me sass. Baby. She's sticking to me a little bit like glue today. That's where I thought I would be a bit luckier with Millie Cam shenanigans. Alright, so without further ado then, let's have a little look at what this looks like. And I'm going to first start off by kind of running you through the character sheet and essentially explaining, because one of my favourite parts of this this game is that it actually does give like a sort of list, like a key of what each thing, like summary. There you go, that's the word, summary. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory, others less so. So obviously pilot name, pretty self-explanatory. Pilot origin, where is your pilot from? And there's like a list that you could choose from, so we will go through that in a minute. Your temperament is your pilot's personality, and again, this is kind of rolled to a point, and like half rolled, half chosen. But I'll kind of go through that in a moment. Pilot goal, what drives your pilot? Pilot presence begins at 0 but can be modified by temperament or goal. Your pilot's mental fortitude and reasoning skills. So this is a stat actually. Pilot body is also a stat, begins at 0, can be modified by temperament or goal. Your pilot's physical capability and toughness. Level, your character's current level. I will assume that we will be beginning at level 1, but that's what I will decide when I apparently head to page 19. Your iron core sync bond. This begins at 2, and as you can see, I've coloured in 2 of the diamonds there to show you. This begins at 2, so this is your the connection sort of between your pilot and your mech, because your mech is not 100% robot. Your mech has a sort of like an artificial intelligence system, so it's capable of learning and forming a level of attachment, and it's basically almost kind of learning to engage with something beyond, getting some like a form of sentience almost. It also determines how many heroic actions or iron core engagements you can use per day, so those are kind of the mechanics of the game. Mech shielding is the amount of damage your mech can take before being disabled. And then we kind of head down, so you can see I've left out appearance there. You have the option of sketching, or kind of, it kind of gives a big enough box that you can sketch in, and that's what it advises to do. Probably I'm going to just write an appearance, if anything. Well, I genuinely don't have the means of being able to sketch in this setup that I've got. Sorry. But I'm not a good artist, so thank goodness, quite frankly. And then mech. Your mech name, your mech weight class. So you choose that, and that will kind of affect your shielding, brawn, and mech reflex modifiers. It's kind of like that classic thing of like you get a lighter one that's better at reflexes but less good at brawn, the middle ground, or the kind of heavier one. So we'll have a look at that in a minute, and we'll decide on those things. Attacks is the number of attacks a mech can make in a combat round. The mech brawn is your raw strength. Mech reflex, the agility. Weapons is the weapons that your mech is equipped with. And I believe you start with 2. Yeah, weapons. Begin with 2. This is the weapons that your mech is equipped with. So you start with 2 weapons, but you might be able to add a 3rd weapon. And an auxiliary system is an additional piece of equipment attached to the mech that provides bonuses. I'm not sure that you start with that, but you can certainly get it at some point. Battle scars, the damage your mech suffers over time. Mech specialization, the task your mech is programmed to perform when left to its own devices. Now that will be kind of an interesting one. This is where sort of some of the story stuff comes in. And finally, mech quirks, things that your mech's internal AI systems pick up during your adventures. So like what, it's a sort of a form of personality for your mech, essentially. Ooh, I forgot I was up there. So level 69. I knew I could count on you, Jen, to do this. I've just realised as well that my this is not updating in real time. I do not enjoy it when that doesn't happen. And I don't understand why that happens that way. This is always the way. Let me pop myself into game for a moment and try and fix it. Feel free to fill the chat with fun things for me to read while I try to fix this moment. Oh wait, I've just remembered. Jen, I'm not sure I want you to fill my I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. That that's a good idea. There we go. come out of studio mode. And we're back, and now this should... So see, yes, see? I'm scrolling and things are happening now. Isn't that good? Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, I still need to work out some of the very small quirks in my setup. Okay, so now what I'm realizing immediately that I should have done is probably come up with a name for my pilot and a name for my mech before the stream, just because those are the things that normally take me a really long time. I'm incredibly indecisive. But what we'll do is we'll work our way through the rest of it, and then I think that I will come up with the name for the pilot and the name for the mech at the end, or just when inspiration hits, because it tends to be once I build the character, that's when the name kind of hits me. So we'll do it that way. So we'll start with the origin of my mech. Now, there's some really interesting origins actually in this. And I don't know if this is just kind of what they've given for the quick start or the demo, and there'll be lots more to choose from. There are six different pilot origins to choose from. The AU is a federation of many different sentient species, each with their own cultural practice and modes of communication. So this is essentially like choosing your ancestry, or your culture, your heritage. So you have Apollonian, which is basically humans from the Apollo Theta system, home to the Federation of Apollo. They are a new addition to the AU. The AU is the Astral Union, by the way. I believe it's the Astral Union. Yes, the Astral Union. And a partner of growing importance, of course the humans are of growing importance, despite early conflict with the Varsis. The Apollonians harvest the power of the sun, very good, to power their machines. Varsis is the second one. They are sort of like, and all of these I would say are like bipedal humanoids. These are reptilian looking. So reptilian inhabitants of the Varsis triarchy, which I think this is the one that I'm leaning towards, but I'll kind of quickly go through what all of them look like. They are one of the 3 original council signatories of the Astral Union. So there's quite a lot of lore embedded in this, actually, which is impressive. I like that there's a sort of a set lore to this. They hold the largest territory of any Astral Union partner. Varsis are cold-blooded and require thick clothing and heated mech interiors for colder climates. I love that. Ervon are towering bear-like mammals from the League of Ervo. The League is the origin point of mech development. Okay, interesting. So these guys kind of were a big part of the creation of mechs in the first place. Originally created as heavy mining equipment, but weaponized for early border clashes with the Curvean prefecture. Kiros, winged nocturnal citizens of the Kiros expanse. The heroic actions of a Kiros, so they're basically bats, bat-like creatures. The heroic actions of Kiros interceptor squadrons played a decisive role in turning away the strand fleets of the Nephilim Colossi during the Emergence catastrophe. I will explain a little bit more about the history just to give you all the lore. The lore. I am, after all, the lore mistress in a moment. Kiros are capable of short-ranged flight. I do quite like that, actually. Reptile or bat. Kirve, tall centaurian beings. Interesting. So they look like centaurs then. And like looking at their faces, the Ervon and the Kirve are the most sort of alien looking. I would say the others just look like if you were to kind of cross a human, put a human with a reptile, that's what you'd get with the Varsis. Human with a Kiros, that's what you get. A human with a bat, sorry, that's what you get for the Kiros. But the Kirve are like actually kind of alien looking. They have like 4 eyes and They look a bit like maybe like a reptilian horse-ish, kind of. The Kievae adapted early Ervon combat mechs to implement the semi-sentient ion core systems for an edge in battle. Although all sentient species have potential to develop psionics. Ooh, the Kievae have a particular reputation for manifesting them. Okay, so then they might be a little telekinesis, little psychic stuff going on there. That's interesting. That's cool. And then the Monao. The Monao kind of sounds like meow. Sort of. The feline Monao collective is renowned for exceptional envoys, and their diplomatic corps have prevented many a burgeoning local conflict before it starts. Okay, so they're the peaceful ones. What do you reckon, Millie? Peaceful bunch, cats? Monask pilots have excellent hearing and eyesight, of course. Their reflexes in combat being near unmatched. How incredible! So they are known for they're known for being really good fighters, but they're actually quite peaceful. Hello, Rich. How are you doing? Let me just read through and find the answer to that, probably. Good couple of weeks, thanks. Social media detox. Oh, sounds incredible, to be honest. I should probably do the same at some point. Oh. How are you coping with the weather in your area of England, Rich? Because here it is bloody boiling, let me tell you. Alright, so those are our 6 species. I am kind of veering towards, I feel like I'm still veering towards being reptilian. So being a member of the Varsis origin. So let's just write that. Let's make some decisions. And I'm also going to read to you the initial kind of, I guess the blurb of sort of the lore of the game. So this talks about the Astral Union. The game is set in the far future, in an interstellar conglomerate of cultures known as the Astral Union or the AU. Alternate universe? ? Through sustained diplomatic efforts, the vast systems have been forged into a near-utopian federation where peace reigns. Thick-haired Ervons trade wares from their mighty constructor forges with cold-blooded Farseese merchants. Proud Kievae navigators guide freight ships piloted by Apollonian. Oh dear, am I going to struggle with words today, everyone? Deck crews. People from every culture mingle and live alongside one another in a vast expanse of peaceful planets. Technological marvels have spread throughout the stars, with spatial translation snap rifts binding together the planetary system of the AU. Okay. Artificial intelligence programs are used in the day-to-day running of interstellar bureaucracy. Oh, not AI. Mass-produced pilot machines called mechs are used for everything from agricultural gathering to courier services and construction contracts. Alright, so big-ass robots do all of the stuff. And these machines have their own AI system, which bonds them to their pilot. It learns from them and will protect them in dangerous situations where they become injured or compromised. This system is the heart and brain of the mech, known as the Iron Core. The days of calamitous wars waged by legions of battle mechs are long gone. Many of the towering machines now retrofitted to help build rather than destroy. But small bands of pilots still operate as mercenaries, adventurers, and peacekeepers on the fringes. At the dangerous and ungoverned edges of the Astral Union, colonists frequently settle new worlds. People travel from every culture, species, and background to begin new lives here, with fresh hopes of a peaceful existence. You are an adventuring pilot whose story begins as you touch down on one of these worlds alongside your trusty mech. Interesting. So, and I know that there is also one of the enemies in this game, as is in a lot of the games that I play, and I'm not sorry for it, is capitalism. I know that capitalism is, you know, you got a lot of corporations flying around and trying to make their stamp on the Astral Union, and sometimes to the detriment of the people living there. Decades before your story begins, the AU was rocked by an extragalactic invasion by the unknowable strand fleets of the Nephilim Colossi. The invasion was beaten back, but fragments of the original invasion force, as well as individual Nephilim, still exist in far-flung reaches of the AU. The war-supercharged mech technological advancements which continues to pay dividends in the peacetime since. Innovations include advanced anti-gravity thrusters, self-repairing internal systems, and sustainable perpetual motor drives. Alright. And there's like a little bit more information about kind of like the mechs, how they were made, the iron core system itself, how it was developed, and what it's kind of capable of. I feel like I will refer to that information as needed to kind of build into the story side of thing. Yes, Rich, I absolutely agree. I love how clean this game looks. Not great, but appreciating the garden somewhat. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice opportunity to go outside for sure. Millie has gone out a couple of times, which she's never really done before because she's mostly been an indoor cat, but she's gone out because it's been absolutely boiling, and outside is cooler than inside the houses here in airconless Britain. So it kind of felt like the right thing to do. Alright, so we've picked our pilot's origin. We are going to be a Varsis from the Varsis triarchy. And they were kind of one of the 3 original council signatories of the Astral Union. So they hold the largest territory. There's quite a lot of them. Cold-blooded. So if we go somewhere cold, I will have to remember that I will be requiring thick clothing, and my mech will need a heated interior. Hello, darling. Are you gonna head down there? Can I? Could it be time? Could it be time? Let me just see. Let me just see if I can get this. Here she is. Look, I've managed to get the cat cam going. Finally, she's settled in a place where I can actually record her. Say hi, Millie. Yeah. Hey, baby. Yeah, I know. She's a baby. She's my baby. You want a treat? Because Jen has redeemed treats for you. So you get some treats now. Yeah. There you go. Millie and Moses. Oh. You know, I was reminiscing the other day because my nan used to have a cat called Smudge. and that was like my first cat, because my dad is very, very allergic to cats and dogs, so we couldn't have a cat or a dog in the house. And apparently as a kid I was really upset by this and really wanted a cat. So my nan and granddad were thinking of getting a kitten, and they were like, oh well, let's let Cat come with us to the shelter where we're going to get a kitten from, and she can help us choose the cat, and then it will feel like it's partly her cat. And even though she's not going to be living with the cat, like, maybe that will be enough to you know, please her. It worked like a charm, by the way, and I got to have partial ownership to Smudge the cat, because I picked her out in the shelter. My girlfriend and I own them. Even after we split up, she still let me visit the twins. Oh, that's so cute. Millie and Moses, they're such cute names. I love that. Mine are demons. Jen's cats are adorable. Adorable balls of chaos. Especially Pippin and Grumpy Cat. Someone here knows something about being a grumpy kitty, don't you? Alright, well, as you can see, Millie has chosen a spot to chill out in for a bit, so we'll leave Millie to it. I am going to get on with this. So, pilot temperament then. Let's head over to that next. So what I can do is I can either choose from, there's 3 to choose from, and they also are like roll tables. I'm going to choose from either outgoing, reflected, or mercurial. So it's kind of up to you guys. What if you think what you think that maybe my pilot should be, or I could roll for it. Shall I roll for it, or shall I choose? Outgoing is sort of extroverted, and you like to forge connections with people. That gives you a +1 to pilot presence. Reflective, you prefer to keep to yourself and think carefully before committing to anything. That gives you a +3 to max mech shielding. And 5 to 6, mercurial, you make things up as you go along. Rules are more like guidelines to you. You get to re-roll any failed initiative roll per day, because there is combat in this, by the way. There is lots of combat mechanics. So there's the kind of exploration side of it, but it's also got a combat side of it too. Okay. Yes, the people have spoken. I'm going to roll for it. So a 1 to 2 is I'm outgoing. A 3 to 4 is I'm reflective. A 5 to 6 is I'm mercurial. Let's go. It is a 2. So unlike me, my pilot is going to be outgoing. So let's pop that in. And that means I get a +1 to pilot presence. Okay, now it's the same for goal, and I will just roll for this as well. What is the pilot trying to achieve this far from settled AU space? Has a traumatic event driven them from home? Or have they been sent to fulfill an ancient prophecy? You can tell interesting stories when characters' temperaments conflict with their goals. So 1 to 2 is adventure forth. 3 to 4 is the goal of return home. 5 to 6 is the goal of escape past. That's kind of interesting. Let me roll, and then whichever one I get, I'll kind of read out what that is, and then I'll come up with something. So I got a 3. So my pilot's goal is actually to return home. Maybe you've been exiled from your clan, or have escaped an unjust imprisonment and just wish to go home. You might be building up enough credits for interstellar travel, or gathering evidence to clear your name in order to return home without a bounty on your head. Oh, I kind of like that one. Just kind of like, maybe I'm wanting to get home, but I'm like wanted on my home planet. And I have a bit of a bounty, and I need to kind of clear my name and get a lot of like accounts of me doing good. Maybe I'm doing some form of like some form of space community service where I've like been sent off, I've been exiled, and it's like once we have enough people writing to us saying, yeah, they've reformed, they can return home, then you can get back home. And I want to go home, and let's go with something like, I want to go home and see my little sister again. So I've got to go and collect these community credits. So let's go. Return home. I did, let's not go too much into the details, something bad enough to get exiled. Oh, that's got to be pretty bad, though. That's got to be pretty bad, isn't it? I feel like I tried to steal something. That's what I feel like. Does something bad enough to get exiled? Some form of large-scale theft. I reckon I was part of it. I reckon I was a small part of it, but I took the hit for it. And I got all the punishment because they couldn't catch everyone involved. And I now need community service credits to return home. Letters of forgiveness. Letters from other planets and people to say, yeah, they've totally changed their ways. They're a wonderful person now. So I've got to do good things with my pilot now. Yeah, to return home and see my sister. Oh, right. We have a goal. That's good. I have pilot presence +1. I have pilot body +0. That's less good with the pilot body. Okay, so I have a goal. I have a temperament. So I'm outgoing and charming. They don't conflict necessarily, but maybe my charm can easily get me into trouble as it can get me out of trouble, so that could be something. Now I get to build my mech. Ooh, we start. Okay, yeah, let's build the mech next. So, mechs are typically built from constructor templates licensed by corporate manufacturers. Oh, here we go. Here comes capitalism. But experienced pilots inevitably customize them. I feel like I would customize mine. Perpetual motor drives provide a constant battery charge using the mech's own movement, giving them an almost limitless power supply. Heck yeah. Your mech will be your pilot's transport, weapon, and constant companion in your story. Mechs act as walking and flying tanks in combat situations. Their sturdy shielding deflects incoming attacks, while robust weapon mounts allow for an impressive array of high-powered ordnance. To begin constructing your mech will need to generate their characteristics. So, mech weight, class, and systems come in light, medium, and heavy classes. Light prioritizes speed over durability, heavy combines thick armor with powerful weapons, and medium class mech strike a balance between the two. Your mech weight class will establish your starting mech shielding, as well as your brawn and reflex. Okay. And I can roll for this as well, which I feel like I might do. I might well do. So, each mech has 3 main systems for handling combat situations. So where do I get to? Oh, okay, cool. Cool. So, if I roll a 1 to 2, I'm going to be a lightweight class. If I roll a 3 to 4, I'm going to be a medium. And if I roll a 5 to 6, I'm going to be heavyweight class. So let's just see what I get. And go from there. I'm a 4. So that's medium. Okay. Okay. So, let me show you what that means. Mech weight. Medium. So, number of attacks I get is 3. The mech reflex and mech brawn are at +0. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of wish I had some kind of something on it, but that's okay. I understand that because it's not giving me a plus or a minus because I'm a medium. And my mech shielding is going to start at 40. So it will be, I guess I start at 40 out of 40. And then that's like my hit points, basically. So then move from there. Can I move this in a bit? No. Okay, that's fine. Cool. Mech shielding 40, reflex 0, brawn 0, attacks 3. So that's basically what that tells me. Then I get a 1 ranged offensive system, 1 melee offensive system, and 1 auxiliary system. Cool. Very cool. So let's roll for the melee offensive system first. So it's either going to be a concussion maul, a power blade, or a Ooh, I kind of like that though. Just reading it, I like the molecular whip. But let's see. I'm going to build my mech around precisely what I roll. So let's see what I get. Yes! I rolled a 5 for the whip. Cool. So my first weapon, molecular whip. And that does, what's the damage? 4 plus d6. 4 plus d6. Okay. And the bonus. After hitting with this weapon, you gain +1 to disengage rolls at the end of that round. Okay. Okay. +1 to disengage after hitting. So I guess I'm just gonna write that for now, but I can always come back to this to read it properly. But I think that just basically means if I succeed in hitting with this weapon, then I gain a +1 to disengage rolls at the end of that round. So I wonder if that stacks. That must stack, right? That must stack. So if I was to do 3 melee attacks, then and hit with all of them, I could get a +3 to disengage rolls. Nice. Ranged offensive system. So this is either going to be an auto blaster, a rocket pod, or a railgun. And I noticed that the melee offensive systems, they actually all have the same damage. 4 plus d6 is the same for all of them. Whereas for the ranged offensive systems, they all have different damages. So that's interesting to me. I rolled a 4, which gives me a rocket pod. And that's also 4 plus d6. So let's go weapon, rocket pod. damage. 4 plus d6. And I get to re-roll a hit roll of 1. Okay, when I attack with this weapon, so re-roll hit roll of 1. Okay, when attacking with this weapon. Got it. Oh, what did I do here? I forgot to get rid of that. Okay, so I start with 2 weapons. You always start with 2 weapons with this. And then you also get an auxiliary system. This has 6 different auxiliary systems. So, just to read them out. Ablation armor, liquid metal armaments, mass accelerator, servo balancer, thermite flare launchers, and a TN field projector. All of these have different kind of effects. So let's see which one I earn myself. That's a number 4. A servo balancer. Re-roll 2 failed disengage rolls per combat. So it seems like my mech is pretty good at the old the old running away. Disengaging seems to be its thing. Re-roll 2 failed disengage rolls per combat. Oh no, I'm putting that in the wrong flipping place, aren't I? And let's see. Servo balancer. There we go. Servo balancer. Cool. So what's next? Mech specialization. The Astral Union has been at peace for decades since the defeat of the Nephilim, ending the desire for mechs with purely military applications. Many older battle mechs were reconfigured to suit civilian usage, and newer templates were created with a mind to help build a better world. Your mech has programming and physical adaptations to allow it to be helpful to the citizens of the AU. When your pilot leaves the mech, if you wish, it will happily revert to its specialization and will go about peacefully helping out in whichever way it sees fit. This offers great bonding opportunities for pilots and mech. If the pilot is inside the mech and the two work together to pass a check related to the mech specialization, you gain a temporary sync bond point. Cool. For example, the pilot and the mech with a harvester specialization passes a brawn check to break apart a fallen log that has trapped another mech below it. Okay, cool. So you can kind of use those specializations while you're piloting it, but otherwise it will kind of revert to what it's doing if you're not piloting. If I roll a 1 to 2, my mech is a shepherd and will help care for the local animals, helping them cross streams and generally fussing over them. That's adorable, actually. 3 to 4 is a harvester. The mech assists in gently tilling the land and gathering produce, or sustainably harvesting and breaking down natural materials for a nearby settlement. Number 5 to 6 is a bridge builder. The mech will volunteer its help to any local construction efforts, or will begin building small shelters and bridges for travellers. Okay, that's interesting, because honestly, the one that's appealing to me most is the shepherd, because the animals. I think it's the one with the least application, though. The other two, kind of like the tilling the land, gathering produce, breaking down materials, or helping with local construction efforts, shelters and bridges. They have a lot more. But I guess you could kind of approach like a shepherd with a kind of like it's a nurturing thing, so it will do its best to comfort, and it might not just be animals, it might be like people, like it's almost like herding people as well, kind of shepherding them. Yeah, I think you could find some interesting applications for shepherd. on the surface, it looks like the least useful, but I think you could find some interesting stuff for it. So, well, it doesn't matter, because I got Harvester. So it does a lot of, That being said, do you know what? I'm going to overrule my dice roll, and I'm going to go with Shepherd, actually. Just because I've done dice rolls for all the others, so why not choose the one that makes me happy? Shepherd cares for animals, herding, nurturing, etc. And we'll find some interesting ways of incorporating that, I'm sure. Okay. Character leveling. Every time you complete a successful story circuit, your character may increase their level by 1. You begin your adventure at level 1. Alright. So, let's pop us at level 1 then. And what does level 1 give? So, I have a sync bond of 2, which I've already plopped. That's these sort of like yellow diamonds. Total offensive systems of 2, so that's the 2 weapons that I've got. 1 auxiliary system, 3 attacks, and a mech specialization. And as you level up, you get to add extra things. So for example, when I reach level 2, I will get to increase my iron core sync bond +1, and I will get to increase my hit points, essentially, my maximum mech shielding +5. At level 3, you gain a mech quirk, and so on and so forth. So right now, my mech does not have a quirk. It does not have, like, a very distinct personality, which is good, because it means I can mold it. Mold it however I want. It also doesn't have any battle scars, because we're kind of starting from scratch. So now comes the tricky bit, because I haven't really been thinking about this. Pilot name. And my mech name. I feel like I need like a very like easygoing like I need a like a Han Solo type name. Always good to replace something. Got to head off, unfortunately. Oh, okay, Rich. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. And yes, we will definitely meet soon to talk Argonaut. I am free to talk whenever you are. Let's arrange a date. Okay, let me think of a good name. Need to think of a good, like... I should have come up with the names before stream. I really should have. I'm gonna go with... Do you know what? I'm gonna find a good, like... A good name generator. Let's go with like a... Should I go with like a fantasy sounding name? Like, I want someone who's a little bit like smug. I need a name that makes you think of a smug person. A bit of a smug person. Ooh, yeah, what about this? Like a racer name generator. So, like, maybe not their actual name, but like a nickname. Drift. quite like drift. Drift or dodge, maybe. I quite like drift. I like drift as a name. Pilot's going to be called drift. Not draft. Drift. And then the mech name. The mech name. It's got to be something. Maybe something like Maverick or something, isn't it? Like, or like maybe like Buddy. Oh. What's a good like a good like gentle giant name? Maybe Lenny. Lenny or Samson. Clifford. Ooh. Ooh, what if it's like a dog mech? What if it looks like a, because then shepherd is like a sheepdog, right? So let's call it Clifford. And it's going to be red. And it's going to be big. Let's go. A big red dog. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, appearance is a big red dog. Meanwhile, my character's appearance, I think, because it's kind of reptilian. What's the name of those reptiles? They have frills. Oh, what are they called? Are they like frilly lizards or something? No, they've got to be called something else, right? Oh, it is. It's a frilled neck lizard. Does it not have a different name? Frilled lizard? I feel like I want my character to have frills. So if you've never heard of a frilled neck lizard or a frilled lizard, look it up. Essentially, there's a scene in Jurassic Park where some kind of dinosaur basically has this. It has frills, and there's a really famous scene where like I think it's one of the bad guys. Oh, I don't know the Jurassic Park character names for the most part. I'm really, really sorry. He's running and he's in like a yellow rain mac. And it's in the rain, and then he meets a dinosaur, and then its frills come out, and it spits acid at him. I think my character is a frilled neck lizard, a sort of pink and orange frilled neck lizard. Lizard person. Let's go also pronouns. I'm gonna go with drift. I think is they, them. So pink, orange, frilled neck lizard. I think that they probably like to wear sort of slightly loose baggy sleeve shirts that slightly make them look like a Regency noble for some reason, but it's actually just kind of a cool pilot thing. Maybe like a vest top over the top. Not like fancy silken ones, very practical, but like loose sleeved shirt. And of course, if we're going for Han Solo vibes, tight trousers. Okay, so they're hot, is what I'm saying. Hot lizard person. Okay, so cool. We have come up with so to recap, we have come up with our pilot, whose name is Drift. They are of the Varsis origin, so that means that they are essentially a reptilian humanoid. They are outgoing, which gave them a +1 pilot presence. They want to return home. Did some minor large-scale theft. Maybe they pulled off a heist against a corporation. Oh, maybe they're a rebel. But they got caught. Corporation got them banned. That's what I'm going with. So, screw capitalism. Pink and orange frilled neck lizard person. Loose sleeve shirt, tight trousers. This was a very important part of the character creation process. Pilot present +1, pilot body +0. They have a bond of 2 with their mech. And their mech has 40 hit points, which is not too bad. Their mech's name, by the way, Clifford. Big red dog. Has a whip. That's got to be the tail, right? Yeah. Their tail is their molecular whip. Cool. Rocket pod as well. Love some rockets. And their whole thing is shepherding, so caring for the animals, herding, nurturing, etc., etc. Nice. I have come up with, I think I've done everything I need to do. I'm going to just 100% check that to make sure, but I believe that I have done all of the things that I need to do to start the game. So, when playing Ironheart, your time will be split between controlling your pilot in and out of the mech. For difficult and dangerous actions, I will need to roll 6-sided dice. For a check, rolls of 4+ are usually successful unless stated otherwise. A failed check means the pilot was unsuccessful. Pilot can push themselves to breaking point and beyond using a heroic action. Okay, so these are kind of the mechanics. These are kind of the mechanics of the game. If you're trying to intimidate, you should, or kind of persuade, charm, use perception, deductive reasoning, you should try perception. If you are trying to use physicality, for example, strength or dexterity, you should try body. Now that's interesting. So body is not just like, oh, big brawn. It's like anything body related. And equally, presence is not just your charismatic presence. It's like your presence of mind. So they've basically taken, if you're thinking in terms of like D&D stats, they've taken constitution, dexterity, and strength and made it all into body. And then they've taken charisma, wisdom, and intelligence and made that presence. That's basically what they've done. If a pilot takes damage, apply it to the mech shielding. In the AU, it's customary for a pilot to exit their mech when entering a settlement. In the AU is customary. Okay. Your pilot will likely do this when trading or engaging in face-to-face interactions in a safe area. Alright. So when we first enter a settlement, and I think you start kind of entering a settlement, so you kind of exit your mech. So we're going to do that. When they're exiting the mech, machine's iron core and emergent personality will take over, can still obey commands remotely. Lovely. Okay, cool. Interesting. Between settlements, we're in combat. Pilot will almost certainly be inside of the mech. Got it. So you're inside your mech for combat, and when you're like exploring spaces between settlements. So you will land on a planet, and you might be exploring the planet, and you'll probably be doing that from inside your mech because you might encounter something. When you enter a settlement, you exit your mech and you talk to the people there and do things, basically. And your mech becomes its own kind of personality, but will still obey your commands. Nice! Alright, so I think I've kind of got it, and then we will start when I'm going to go for a break now. I'm going to go and sort of have a good drink, stretch my legs a little bit, and then I'll come back and we will start. I'm going to be looking at... I will initially land on the planet and do a couple of rolls for kind of what I find on this planet. Once I reach the settlement, I think what I'll do is I'll begin one of the story circuits. And normally there is a, I'll go through it with you, but there's normally a kind of mechanic of how you get into a story circuit. But I'm going to kind of start it just so I can kind of start to show the some of the mechanics around that. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. This is such a perfect game to relax to be honest. It really is. Like, I'm actually like so chilled out right now. This is it really conveys itself as like you're just exploring. You're gonna get into combat. There's gonna be moments, but like this is like meant to be like a lo-fi, very cozy solo game experience, and I'm really getting that from it. I don't feel at all stressed. I feel, and like it's very clean, as Rich said earlier, like the way that the character sheet is kind of set out and the way that everything is laid out inside the physical and digital version of the demo is really clean. It's easy to find all the information that you need to find. I really like that about this game, and I'm very, very excited. So if you are interested in this game, let me get the Moobot command back. So this is Ironheart. It's by Parable Games. They have previously released sort of the bigger tabletop role-playing game. It's quite a famous one known as Shiver, which is very horror-based. They've also released a solo game called Don't Play This Game, also very horror-based. This is a complete departure from that, and I'm very impressed, considering it's like not, if you were to think of them as having like a focus as kind of what their company does. This is a complete departure from that, but it's really, really good. It's very well laid out, and I'm really enjoying it. So I think that they've done a very good job with it so far. I'm very excited to get into some of the mechanics, the meatier mechanics of the game. I'd quite like to get into some combat just to see how the combat works, because that seems to be a big portion of the mechanics, and then perhaps enter a settlement, start a story circuit, and we'll just see how far we get. So let's try that out. Thanks so much for joining me. I will not be long. Bye! everyone, I am back. I am back. I needed a good drink and a good stretch. How's it going? How are we doing? What's everyone up to? I hope we're doing okay. I'm gonna just head on over to here. I'm hearing things now, everyone. Okay, so I am going to, now we have kind of come up with our various things that we'll be using to play the game. So what our pilot and what our mech kind of look like, what they are. I'm now going to get into the main part of the game, which is the sort of exploring, like landing in a place, you explore, and you begin to make your way around the various story circuits or story beats that you might come across. So when you start by landing on a planet, and then you kind of roll to figure out what that planet looks like and what you might find. And so there's like a little section for exploration. When you start your adventure, you should roll to determine what kind of environment your story will take place in, or at least where it starts. Some planets on the AU's frontiers consist of a single biome. Others contain a multitude of climates and environments. I might keep it down to kind of like single biome-ish kind of vibes, just to keep it simple. If you arrive at a settlement, you must roll below to determine its size and composition. So we will arrive at a settlement at some point. All settlements have certain like what's the word, buildings, like amenities, that's the word. So all settlements have amenities. So if you have like a little hamlet, then you have one amenity. If you have a municipality, which is 200 plus buildings, you have 4 amenities. And you then roll for what kind of amenities you have. Then you can like roll for traveling encounters, which is like friendly encounters, mysterious encounters, etc., etc., and hostile encounters. Hopefully we'll get one of those. My thinking is that what I'll do is I'll have us land on the planet and we'll have a couple of encounters maybe, and then we'll see how far we get in our story circuit, and we'll come across a settlement and see how far we get kind of in our story circuit with that. So let's begin then. So I'm going to roll for what kind of biome type will I have. It is a 6, so it is a marshy biotype. That's kind of interesting. So steaming marshes. Okay, so let's put us into an interesting like, what would you say, like a futuristic type font. I'm gonna go ahead and give us like maybe this like typewriter type one that kind of somehow looks both vintage and futuristic at the same time. Hello, Millie. Yeah. No. Oh no, baby girl. So settlement or planet, sorry. Steaming marshes. Can I unbold that? Yeah. Okay. And all right, so that kind of gives us like a baseline for what our place will look like. So we have just arrived here. I would say that it's quite a marshy place, maybe built up of like a lot of tree villages, and some sort of flatland settlements. I think a small planet, just to keep it chilled out and I don't think that there are going to be huge settlements here. Maybe there's one, but we'll see what we get settlement wise a bit later. I think a majority of the planet is actually wilderness, so we will, let's write that down. So majority is marshy, boggy wilderness. I think like humid and jungle like. Some flatland areas, almost like islands. Almost like small islands. This is where the settlements are. So I think that we kind of land in this area that's probably we land in like thick mud, and our doggo Clifford is probably already exceptionally dirty now, around the feet, and we'll do like a couple of encounters. So let's start with, oh, okay, so you kind of roll for the encounter type, and then you roll for what encounter within the encounter type. I like that a lot. When traveling between locations and settlements, you have the chance of encountering other travelers for better or worse. Roll a dice once while traveling between each location. On a 3+, you have an encounter. You may elect to miss encounters after finishing a story circuit node. I like that very much. I think that I will just say that we're automatically having an encounter, just for the sake of the sort of the how we're going to do this for the spotlighting of the game. So we're definitely going to have an encounter in our first day. So we kind of land and we're going to be exploring. What will our first encounter look like? I will roll and find out. So the first encounter is a mysterious encounter. Interesting indeed. Determine what the encounter is with the following tables. So I roll again just to see what that is, and I rolled a 4. I'm beginning to think that this dice might be weighted for 4s because I keep getting 4s. A person or people are trapped under rubble or some other such danger. Pass a brawn check to quickly remove the danger. What happened? I know exactly what this is going to be. I think we're going to find some people that are stuck in like in the muds, or like they're kind of sinking into mud. I think that's how we're going to do this. So let's get this going. What should we call our planet? I just keep going back to like Labyrinth and being like the bog of oh god, what's it called? The bog of eternal stench. Muskeg. I'm finding words for bog and just seeing if I can get a cool planet name from that. Or maybe just like a planet name generator. That would be kind of fun. Find one that sounds a bit like... Ooh. maybe Moboli. That sounds kind of like a bit gloopy. I don't know if that you can even really say that, but Moboli. So, let's go. We arrived on Moboli. No, I hate it when it like underlines in red. In very good time. Most likely because we had to travel so quickly from our last stop. What can I say? My sister. Oh, I should give her a name. Verna. Verna always said I was too charming for my own good. And in this case, it didn't serve me well. Still, Clifford remains in good spirits, despite the extra work he's put in traveling here. He wags his tail as we land and gives the surrounding trees an inquisitive sniff. I don't regret installing some dog-like behaviors in him for 1 second. It's muddy here. Too muddy. I don't want to ruin my boots. Hello, Millie. Say hi to the people. No? Alright. Go around behind. Be careful. I love you, baby. I don't want to ruin my boots. So I stay inside Clifford. Or I stay inside Clifford while we make our way through the dense undergrowth. It's hot too, but the heat doesn't bother me. In fact, it's a refreshing change from the mountains. Of Duties. Duties. All right. I know there are settlements here, but it's a pretty unforgiving planet, so they are few and far between. I know it's dangerous too. Plenty of wild beasts, outlaws hiding, and of course the harsh environment of the planet itself. Isn't long before I come across someone who has fallen prey to the thick mud, unprotected. She's covered head to foot and clinging onto a root, exhausted. All right, so this is going to be a brawn of some kind. Pass a brawn check. Now, if I remember, does my... Ah, yes, my mech has brawn. So, I'm going to get Clifford to try to help her. So, I believe that when I make checks, I get a 4 and above unless it states otherwise, and it will be successful. So, when you're exploring spaces between settlements, the pilot will almost certainly be inside the mech. They can carry out great feats of strength and speed. Yeah, okay. The mech should make a brawn check anytime they carry out a difficult action relying on its strength or toughness. And if they need to react quickly from something, it will be a reflex check. Now, this is specifically called for a brawn check. A result of 4+ is a success. I have no modifiers, so there's nothing that makes my mech particularly strong in this when it comes to like standard mech stuff. The mech's iron core may communicate with the pilot through voice channels, synaptic resonances, or even projected personification holograms. That's kind of cool. I like that a lot. So I can have them kind of communicate with me however I like. So let's see. 4+, so I'm more likely to fail. Oh, no, wait, 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, no. Forget what I just said. I'm technically more likely to succeed because you're more likely to have a sort of a plus modifier as well, so. Let's see. Ah, I got a 4. This has definitely got to be weighted in the favor of 4s. I'm going to change my dice, but in this case, I'll keep it. So I got a 4. So, she's barely able to lift her arm to catch her attention. To catch our attention, sorry. And I might have missed her myself, but Clifford's instincts are sharp. How would he communicate? I think he would communicate via dog noises. The sound of a distressed whine fills the cockpit, and I know he's spotted something unusual. Urgently so. Go on then, boy. Show me. Sometimes I forget I'm English. Or British, I should say. British English. Go on then, boy. Show me. He leaps over a couple of large tree trunks stuck fast in the mud and bends down towards the woman, who hoarsely cries out and reaches up again. I swear. And begin flicking switches. Come on, Clifford. Let's get her out. Maybe she knows where I can find a settlement. Clifford barks an affirmation loudly and reaches down. She can't grab onto the bulk of his nose well, so I make an adjustment and turn him round, guiding his tail to wrap around her as best I can. Mud is so thick and it's pulling her in fast. It reminds me of when we traveled the deserts of Chakari. Quicksand there was deadly. Invisibly so. I wouldn't say it was with ease, but we do get her out, and she gasps, "Hello, darling," with breath, as the tail lifts her onto Clifford's back. I open the cockpit and climb out, yelling, "Stay!" at him as I do. Then I approach the woman. Ooh, now, maybe I should roll. Maybe I should roll to find out what she is. And who she is. So, let's find out, shall we? I'm going to roll to see what origin she is. A 2. She is Varsis, like me. That's kind of cool. And yeah, let's go from there. So to my momentary surprise, I see that she is from the Varsis. Sorry, I spelled that wrong. Varsis triarchy, like I am. Ooh, she's reptilian too. Maybe she's like very like an iguana, so she's got frills. No, like spikes that go down the back of her head. Stockier with blue green spikes trailing down her head and disappearing beneath her collar. I try to learn some basic facts. Who she is, where her home is, if she's injured, but she promptly passes out on me. Heaving a great sigh, I carry her into the cockpit. It's a bit of a squeeze, but I can't really leave it behind. Well, Clifford, on we go. Hiya. All right. So let's do a little underline for that. Cool, look at that. We've already started. Look at us go. Okay, so let's roll for another encounter. And see where we get with that. Hopefully. In fact, I'm actually going to... I'm going to make this a hostile encounter. Like, I'm not going to roll to see what kind of encounter it is. I'm going to just say this next one is going to be a hostile encounter. Just because I kind of want to see how the combat works. I think that would be really interesting. And then we'll find a settlement. So, hostile encounter. Let's roll to see which kind of hostile encounter we get. It is it's number 4, so it's a frenzied pilot. A frenzied pilot who has seen something. Perhaps they've uncovered an alien artifact or something even worse. A Zenith enforcer that will keep attacking. Alright. Okay. Cool. So we're sorry, I'm just having a little read. So, I'm gonna just find the Zenith enforcer. Because there are actually little stat blocks for your enemies, and you can choose kind of. Okay, so let's get this noted down. So 1 times Zenith enforcer. Frenzied pilot seen something. Now, I have actually had a little look at what story circuit I want to go for, because there's 2 that are included in this demo. And the one that I am going to choose and I'm going to go for, I kind of have an understanding of what the storyline of that is going to be. So I'm going to have it relate to that. So let's roll to see what origin this enforcer has. That's a 6. So they are Monau. And so their mech is going to be... What's a Zenith enforcer? Okay, so it's a threat level... Oh, it's a threat level 2. That sounds difficult. So imposing Zenith morsel has thicker armor plating, additional weapon hard points, typically used by hardened mercenary lieutenants. Okay, so they are Monau, so feline, and that's going to be interesting because they're normally quite peaceful, aren't they? So whatever they've seen has frightened them considerably. Seen something frightening. I'm sure that my dog-like mech will be really comforting to them. It says that they're going to keep attacking, so I'm not going to bother trying to like reason with them. I think I'm going to just kind of break into combat, but I'll get there naturally in the story. Let's write this down. So threat level 2, mech shielding 24. So they got 24 hit points. So they have a plasma blaster. D6. And a beam sword. Also Oh, so damage 6. But it's not rolled. It's just they do 6 damage. Okay. So both of theirs do 6. Got it. Okay. Okay. So let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at how this works. So, starting combat. You roll a d6 to determine who has initiative. On a 4+, your mech has initiative, and you can apply your mech reflex modifier to this result. Interesting. Enemies will all attack at the same time. Now, I've only got one enemy, so that's good. Then you have basically 3 combat rounds. You have a ranged combat step, the melee step, and the disengage step. My interesting, so you can choose to disengage. My character's mech is good at disengaging. But I might do a couple of rounds and just kind of do a bit of damage and then see where I go in order for that to be the thing that I try to do. So I think what I'll do, the way I'll do this, before combat starts, you may try to intimidate or reason with opponents. Yes, but I think that the encounter that I rolled, it tells me that they will keep attacking. So I think I need to defeat them, as it were. So you go for your ranged step first, so you use your ranged thing, and you can choose 3 attacks. So I could do like 1 ranged attack, 2 melee attacks, or I could do 2 ranged attacks and 1 melee attack. Now it doesn't really matter in terms of damage. The combatants with initiative attacks first. Okay. So you may wish to... Oh, I see. So you may wish to disengage so that you can move... It can be to leave and go back to exploration, or it can be to begin the next combat round with the ranged step. Makes sense. Your mech has a number of attacks based on its level. And each round can be split between ranged and melee steps. So I've got 3 attacks. If you opt to make no attacks in one step, you receive a -1 to defending rolls. Ah, okay, so if I'm like, oh no, I just want to get in melee combat. I feel like my characters, because they're quite good at disengaging, I think my character probably is the run away and try to avoid combat, try to talk your way into out of the situation type person. So they will probably engage in this combat, but if it looks like things are starting to go south, then it's going to be a runaway situation. So let's do a round. I'm going to, during each step of combat, roll a number of d6 equal to your number of attacks, splitting them between enemies as you wish. Each 4+ equals a successful hit with the weapon you chose to use. I see. So, if I'm reading this correctly, I have 3 attacks. I may choose to do 2 ranged attacks, 1 melee, and then disengage if I want to. Or I could choose to do like the other way around, or I could choose, if I choose to do 0 in one of them, then you can only you have to take a penalty to your to your shielding. Defending. Enemies make a number of attacks in each step equal to their threat level, so they can only make 2 attacks against me. Roll a d6 for each attack made by the enemy. On a 4+, you successfully defend yourself. Okay. So let's do this. So we start off with our ranged attack. Now, I think that my mech will probably go for that as being... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them... So they actually make 4 attacks then. If they've got a threat level of 2, they're actually making 2 ranged attacks and 2 melee attacks. So yeah, let's strategize. I'm gonna go for 3 attacks on the range level, and they're gonna make 2 attacks against me on the range level, and we'll see where we go. I'm gonna write down the details of this battle, and then that will help me to kind of inform the journal entry a little bit. But let's start with the ranged. It is ranged first, isn't it? So let's roll our initiative. Oh, excellent. Initiative 6. I'm going first. So let's say they've initiated the combat. They've made it clear that they're going to attack. So I'm going to step on my ranged. And I think I'm going to go all 3 of my attacks on ranged. Yeah. So, all 3 of my attacks are going to be ranged attacks, so I get to roll all 3 of my dice. Then basically trying or hoping to kind of fend them off in one big hit. And we'll see how many of those are successful hits. Each 4+ equals a successful hit. And you can apply Mech Brawn modifier to melee damage. Not that I actually have Mech Brawn currently. Okay. Let's see how many successful hits I have. Ooh, that's good. So I rolled 2 4s and a 5. So I don't get a critical hit, because if you roll an unmodified roll of 6, you do gain a critical hit. So all 3 of my ranged attacks hit. So now I get to... Yeah, now I get to roll for the actual... what do they do? 4 plus a d6. So my ranged attacks, they're gonna get hit 3 times with my whip, and it's gonna be... I do get, like... Yeah, so I do want to disengage, but I'm probably going to disengage in terms of just staying in the combat, but getting back to range level. But, so because they all hit, it's going to mean I'm going to get a +3 to disengage, which is excellent. Me... 3 times ranged, all hit. 4, 5. So how much damage does that do? That's going to be 3 lots of 4 plus the d6. So that's going to be 3 plus 4 is 7. 1 plus 4 is 5. And another 1 plus 4 is 5. So I ended up doing 10. 7. That's 17 points of damage though. And that's a big hit. 17 points of damage in all. Alright. Then they take their turn. They are going to do they're going to do 2 against me. And when I defend, I roll a d6 for each attack made by an enemy. If I roll a 4+, I successfully defend myself and receive no damage. On a failure, I receive damage to my mech shielding equal to the damage shown on the enemy's profile, which is 6. So, because it's the ranged attacks, isn't it? So, let's see what I roll. So I've defended from 1 because I rolled a 5 and I rolled a 2. 1 hit. 2, 5. So that means 6 points. 6 points of damage in all. But we're then moving on to the melee round. Now I don't have any melee attack. So because I've used all 3 of my attacks, right? I used the tail whip 3 times. So I get a -1 now to every defense I'm making in this range, in this round. So they are going to make 2 melee attacks against me. I'm going to roll the dice. And oh, what terrible luck. So I rolled a 4 for both of them, but because both of them are -1, it lowers both of them down to a 3, which means that they actually both hit me. So in the melee round, them 2 hit, so they take me massively by surprise. So that ended up being a 3 and a 3 instead of a 4 and a 4. Oh, it was a little bit tactically bad there, but that means that they did another 12 points of damage in all. So where am I at now? So 12 plus 6, that's 18. So let's just take that from my 40. So, oof, I'm on 22. I'm on half health, everyone. But that being said, they only had 24 and I did 17. So what's that? 14. They have 7 out of 24 left. Now we're looking at disengage. Now they've got me in melee because they've come into my space in melee. They've engaged me in melee combat, right? So now I might wish to disengage, and it might be to run away. And if this was going more poorly, aka I had not done all the damage that I've done, I might consider that and disengage. But it's not going so poorly. So what I'm going to use, I am going to disengage, not to run away though. I'm going to disengage to try to get into ranged combat again. And I guess if I fail that, then all of my attacks will be in melee because I can't get back into ranged. This is actually a really nice combat. This is a really nice, easy combat mechanic to get my head around. I'm enjoying this very much. So let's do that then. So, disengaging, and I get a +3 to disengage because all of my ranged attacks hit. If you wish your mech may attempt to disengage, roll a d6 and apply mech reflex. My mech reflex modifier is 0. On a 5+, so it has to be a 5+, your mech successfully disengages. Now, the other thing that I have, so I've got a couple of things for disengage. It has to be a 5+. However, I get +3 on all of my on my disengage roll. And if I... Ooh, okay, no, that's a melee thing. Never mind. Server balancer. Reroll 2 failed disengage rolls per combat. So if I fail to disengage here, I could re-roll it and see. So let's see. Let's see what I do. So I'm going to roll this and add 3. 3! 3 plus 3 is 6. So I successfully disengage. This is nice. This is really nice, easy combat. I love that. Because combat sometimes makes me nervous in some... I like complicated combat when I have the chance to put my head around it. But sometimes, especially in like a solo game like this, I don't want combat to be too complicated. Disengage. Success. Then we start again, and I think I would think about running away if I had not managed to hit all of my ranged attacks. But this time my pilot is going to learn a little bit because I took a lot of damage because I was unguarded from the melee thing. So I'm actually only going to roll 2 ranged attacks this time and hopefully finish them off. So let's see how I do. Let's see how I do with that. I managed to successfully do 1. So that's a 6. So, me. 2 times ranged. 1 hit. 2, 6. And what is the damage going to be? It's going to be something +4. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 points of damage. Defeated! Yeah! That sounds really good. Okay, so I successfully managed to defeat them. I have taken a bit of a hit. I've actually only got half health now. But I have successfully defeated them. So, what time is it? Ooh, 10 to 11. Damn, we're getting a little bit late here. Okay, so let's write an entry. And like the best thing about this, to be honest, is you can write the entry, and this is the same with any solo journaling game, to be honest. I am always a little bit extra with my entries, probably. I write really long ones. I really enjoy it. But you don't have to do that. You can just kind of write even just this base, what I'm writing here with like this combat, of just kind of tracking the combat. And you can kind of write like, found a person stuck in the mud, rescued them. And then that's all you write if you want to. It's really just about like, writing the level of entries that kind of feel comfortable to you. So they are now on 0 out of 24. I continued my journey through the thick and unforgiving mud. Clifford. Oh, goodness, why have I got bold on? Occasionally let out a soft, grumbling growl to let me know he was not pleased that his metal paws were so dirty. As soon as we find a settlement, I'll get you all cleaned up. I promise. patting the side of the interior. Reassuringly. I glanced down at the mud-covered woman I'd rescued. She was still unconscious, though Clifford's vitals tracking. Clifford was monitoring her vitals and told me there was nothing dangerous beyond exhaustion. She needed to sleep. For the longest time, all I could hear was the schlick of repetitive. Is this a word? Schlick. It is now. Schlick of mud that we trampled through. But suddenly we heard the strangest metallic howling. Yeah, metallic howling. Followed by thumping metal. A mech definitely headed our way. Definitely in a hurry. It rounded the trees. Its tails. Tails, yeah, swishing and 6 paws scrabbling. I reached out for the pilot's comms. Hey buddy, watch where you're scrambling. What's got you in a ruckus? Upon getting visual on Clifford, the mech screeched its tail and those two tails fluffed out with metal spikes. I'm making this as cat-like as I possibly can. The pilot's voice sounded off over my radio, though I got the feeling he wasn't talking to me. Mayday. Mayday. The beasts are everywhere. There's more than one. All canine. All coming for me. I tried to run. I can't outrun. I must engage. Hey now. No need. I'm friend. Not foe. Tell me what's up. What beast? It tricks me. It tricks me. The pilot sounds terrified. Babbling and incoherent. Engaging missiles. I snort. Not if I engage first. I yell out for Clifford, but he's already a step ahead, bounding past the mech and giving it 3 hefty lashes with his iron-wrought tail. I watch the massive dents form on the side of the other pilot's neck, and a grin. It screeches and disappears into my blind spot for a moment. There's silence. A grin. We scared him off. The huge thump in my against Clifford's metallic hide as missile spikes embed themselves there. Soon shut me up. My new companion wakes with a start and screams. It's alright. I'll get us out of this. Two more large crashes. And Clifford judders, whining and growling. Out of melee range. Clifford, you know the deal. Disengage. Give me visual. Clifford does as bid. And I can see that despite the heavy hits it's giving me, the other mech is not far off disabled. I notice too some large gouges down its side. It looks like it was involved in another squabble before finding me. One more blast, Clifford. Then I'll try and talk some sense into its pilot. Clifford barks ferociously and sends that tail reeling outwards, smacking the cockpit clean off the robots. The mech's robot. The mech's body. Ah! Quite enjoying this. I should write mech battles more often. Alright. How's everyone doing? Just gonna I'm gonna dehydrate. I'm gonna rehydrate. That's the second time on stream that I've said dehydrate instead of rehydrated. Oh, it's a bit hot here. Right, let's go back to this. Clifford barks ferociously and sends that tail reeling outwards, smacking the cockpit clean off the mech's body. The woman sitting beside me holds tight to the bars of the exterior, eyes wide. I watch as a, what did I say? Monor. As a Monor comes sprawling. Oh, ow. Sprawling out. Coughing and breathing hard. open up my cockpit and call out. What's your problem? Why wouldn't you let up? I was trying to talk to you. I was trying to talk. I unbuckle myself and make my way over to him, carefully picking my route along the debris to avoid mud as much as possible. The Monal scrambles back from me, then focuses properly. Wait, you're not. A beast? Damn right I'm not. You should have answered my radio call instead of jumping in, guns blazing. I reach out and help him to his feet. He shakily gets up. Sorry. But I saw a beast. It was mech-like, but no pilot. Just sorry. His shoulders drop. I sigh. Well, already rescued one. No room in my cockpit for another. But Clifford can probably carry assist your mech if we can get him fixed up and taken to. Do you know where the next town is? I do. A quiet voice says from behind me. She's still exhausted, but at least she can talk now. I can take us all there. Where is there? I ask. Oh, let's roll. Let's roll for a civilization. Let's get that up. So, building a settlement. I need to figure out how big my settlement is. So, all settlements have a settlement hall, which is where you basically find the local government, either a mayor or a council or whatever it's going to be. They all have a mech workshop, which will let you repair mech shielding damage. Wonderful. That would be useful. They all have a training post, which you can roll to see if you can swap a weapon or auxiliary system, basically. And they all have a spaceport, which is a simple landing pad. All settlements will have some form of docking for extraplanetary travelers. So this could be where you start, or somewhere you can go to new planet, basically. They also then have extra amenities, and you are rolling for the size of the place to see what kind of amenities they have. So let's see how big. Let's see how big my place is. At 6. So this is a city. This is going to be a sprawling municipality. So this is actually a big city. Or at least a very large town. So let's go to the capital. My home. It is the biggest island on this planet, and the safest, at least until recently. Shall we give it a name? Let's call it Yatera. I've just come from there. The pilot adds. They've all the resources. But that's where I heard about Beast. Thought I'd try and track it down. And now I wish I hadn't. I look at... Oh, do you know what? He probably introduced himself. Name's Sid, by the way. I'm, yeah, definitely stealing that from Final Fantasy, sorry. I look at my mud-plastered female companion. And you? Sarah. Let's go with that name. Why are you so far out? I have my reasons. She snaps and says nothing more. Fine. Well, lead on. Okay, so we have our civilization. So let's go settlement. Yatera. And it is a it's got 200 plus buildings, 1,000 plus people, and extra amenities of 4. So 200 plus building, 1,000 plus people, and then it's got a settlement hall. Yeah, settlement hall. Actually, let's not like bullet point them. Mech workshop, which I will definitely be visiting if I can. Trading post. Spaceport. And then I get to roll for 4 more. So, let's roll. In fact, let's just roll 4 dice. Let's see what I get. Oh! That's a pretty unforgiving. That's pretty unforgiving. That's a lot of, oh, re-roll duplicate results. Okay, so I can re-roll this too. So I get 2 watering holes though. That's another duplicate result. It's another one. This is a weighted die. Okay. Fine. So here's what we have. We have 2 watering holes. Oh, okay, so watering holes, so that's like taverns, basically. Nice. Alright, so, 2 times, like, bars slash, well, let's just call them what they are. 2 times watering holes. 3 rest and relaxation. Sometimes ongoing crisis, combat stress, and being attacked by killer mercenaries can get a bit much. You may just need to put your feet up. Cafes, spa days, holistic realignment days. Yeah, I'm gonna say that they have like baths, but it's like swamp water baths, like mud baths. So they have like baths. That's the rest and relaxation area. So they got a few like leisurely bits. And then the other thing I rolled a 5. A 5 is a library. Tomes and records covering everything from interstellar histories to academic tests and trashy romance books. You may add +1 to a single presence check of your choice. So I'm going to say, oh, so they don't have any like, oh, that's a shame. They don't have any like cultural curiosities. But that's cool. Let's go library. I'm gonna kind of mix it up and say that the library is like it's like almost like a temple. But it contains like stories and about the kind of the local knowledge stuff. But you can have that as whatever you want when you actually go there. And then how does this work then? Do I just get to choose where I go? So like when I get to a settlement, do I just be like, right, today I'm doing this? Every day you may visit 2 amenities. Got it. Okay. That's really cool. So I would probably visit the mech workshop. And then to begin my story circuit, I would visit the settlement hall to find the local council. And I do think it's run by a council. So, mech workshop. Let's do that first. It allows you to repair mech shielding damage for additional 3d6 per day. Succeed a presence check with a -1 modifier to remove a single battle scar. Now, my mech doesn't have any battle scars. How do they get battle scars, actually? Did I do something that meant that they might get a battle scar? I think it's probably if you run out, if your mech is disabled. Ah, yes. If your mech is reduced to 0 mech shielding, your mech will be disabled and unable to fight. Perhaps your mech's crisis systems engage and boosts out of combat, or your enemy will gloat while you are trapped in place. Your mech will take one of the battle scars shown below. And it's like, not dead yet, or countermeasure failure, or something. So it's like, it actually affects their personality. And then what does being like disabled actually mean? Does it just mean that they just can't do anything? I guess you would then say, I've lost, and then you would figure out what that would actually mean. Alright, so mech workshop. I'm going to roll 3d6 and I'm going to find out how much of my hit points I get back. Oh, not great. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So I have, well, okay. So what did I have left? So 22. 22 plus 7, that's going to be 29. So, alright. I've got like 3/4 of my health, basically. So that's not terrible. That's not terrible at all. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just kind of talk a little bit about the mechanics of how a story circuit works, and say that this is where I would like begin my story circuit. We are kind of venturing into, it's quite late now here. It is actually 11:30 p.m. So mech workshop, I regained 7 health. Settlement hall, a place where you can find local government, which depending on size can be anything from a local mayor to a full administrative council. Converse with them to learn about local going on. On a successful presence check, you may begin a story circuit. So essentially the way this would work is I would roll a presence check, and it would be a pilot presence check because I'm out of the mech's body, basically. And the mech doesn't have presence checks anyway by the looks of it, but I know that there are some that it kind of looks like they share, or maybe not. So pilot presence, I have +1 in that, so it would have to be a 3 or above on the dice, basically. So let's just see. So in the particular instance, so I rolled a 3, +1 is 4, so it would be a successful presence check. And I would probably say that because it was a 4, they were a little bit reluctant to talk to me, a stranger. But you know, I've rescued one of their residents, I've rescued a pilot, and so that would be enough to maybe win them over. And then I would begin the story circuit. Now, story circuits. So not only do you have like roll tables and things for just kind of general exploration, you can do that really for as long and as much as you like. You then have story circuits, which are the gameplay mechanic for Ironheart's sort of narrative progression and leveling up and things like that. A story circuit is broken into 6 parts. Players can pursue, ultimately leading to a dramatic conclusion. They all contain multiple encounters that you have the choice to move through sequentially or select a few based on random dice rolls. Once you've completed 3 events, you can then play out the finale as instructed and close the circuit, which allows you to move on to another and continue your adventures. Many of the story circuit events will ask questions of your character. They're designed to act as prompts and guidance for the journaling of the experience. Answer them in the way you feel your character would. Please remember to make sure that your mech's non-combat specialization can be of use in many situations if you're creative enough with it. In situations where you judge that your mech specialization would give you an edge, you can add a +1 to the relevant check. Make sure to journal how you utilize your mech's peaceful specialization to help out or overcome a difficult situation. I'm not going to journal all this out because of how late it's getting, but the story circuits that are in the quick start, one of them is called the Mech Circus, and it is essentially there is Marsha's Mecha Circus, and it is about kind of helping the circus prepare for kind of opening up and making a show. Or 2, which was the one that I was going to go for, protecting the herd. When exploring a rural town, so I've landed at a municipality, but I would probably change up some things to make it look like that, like I've kind of come across like the farmers area, or their farms are having issues. You hear a commotion from the town hall. A lively discussion is taking place between a large group of concerned farmers. Something or someone has been interfering with their herds of malhoons, giant, peaceful grazing creatures. Many have been disappearing from the flock, which is not in their nature. Some of the farmers suspect rustlers stealing livestock. Other whisper rumours of a rare titan beast that has been snacking on their herds. Hence why I had my poor frenzied pilot yammering on about a beast. Either way, they need to help protect their flocks and livelihoods. Will you help them find what is harrying the Malhoun herds? Complete at least 3 of the following events, then continue to this story circuit's finale. So the way that I would do it, you can do all 6 of them if you want, or all of them. I would go for, let's say I'm doing 3 though, and then finale. 1, 2, 3. So, let's roll them now. And I'll re-roll duplicates, obviously. So I got a 1, a 4, and a 5. A 1 is herding herding the Malhoons. 4 is the worried witness. And 5 is giant tracks. And that, well, lends quite well, I think. And the way I would then go through these, so herding the Malhoons, the giant beasts are restless, their heads bucking in concern. Heavy horns scrape up the turf as they pad and paw at the expansive paddock. There have been many attacks and disappearances in this area, and the herd needs to move to a safer location. But herding is not going to be an easy task. Can you help the farmers wrestle their mega flock and guide them to safety? What farmers approach you with this task? What do you think of the towering Malhoons? How does your mech respond to interacting with the creatures? So you can help the farmers with the herding with 2 checks. First you make a mech brawn check, then you make a pilot presence check. And obviously for me, mech brawn, but my it would be their specialization, so I'd add +1. And then I have a pilot presence check of +1 as well. So I'd probably be pretty good. Hopefully. If you're successful, you gain a sync bond point, as you and your mech form a stronger connection through the hard day's work. If you fail both checks, it takes all day and some of the night to wrangle the herd, which takes a toll. So you succeed anyway, but your pilot's body is at -1 for the next event due to exhaustion. And like, this is really interesting because whereas with the exploration, it's just like smaller roll tables where you have like one mini thing happen or you end up engaging in combat. With these, it's much more like detailed, it's much more fleshed out, and there's a series of checks that you make in order to kind of like to get through the story. Number 4 is then the worried witness. There's a farmhand gibbering wildly about something that attacked the herd on their watch. I might bring my poor, slightly panicked pilot that I've met into this. They're covered in cuts and bruises, eyes wide. Who is this farmhand? Can you calm them and get the information on what attacked them? Make a pilot presence check. On a success, you calm down the witness and manage to get useful information from them. They say the beast, and they kind of gives you. I don't want to spoil it too much because some of you might want to. This is all free to get hold of, so you might want to play this out yourself. But you get some useful information on this beast. And then number 3, giant tracks. Let's see. I can't find giant tracks here, actually. Is this not, Oh, it's just not, the title is not actually written there. Patrolling the paddocks, you find a giant set of tracks that don't belong to the Malhoons. They're deep set into the earth. And then you roll a pilot presence check. You do that basically to find out if you can figure out what the tracks are. And then that leads you, if you want it to you can continue to do some of the other sort of things if you wanted to, but it leads you to the finale, which is the Wild Wolf. And that is you engaging in combat with a creature. And again, I'm not gonna go too hard into like the lore of what this is, but essentially you will end up in a finale showdown. This is a really cool way of doing like splitting up an adventure. I love how clean this is. I love how easy this is to navigate. It's all kind of like written out for you, but you end up, if you were to do the same story circuit twice, you could completely reinvent them and change them about a bit, encounter different parts of it, just to kind of change up your story. I really enjoy this, and I think that this game is incredible. I can absolutely see why it has done so well on its backer kit event. I am going to wrap this up now. I wish I had had a little more time to kind of go into the sort of the nitty-gritty with the story circuits, but I had a lot of fun in what I did manage to write, which was a lot. You know, landing on the planet, finding this poor mud-soaked person, and rescuing them, then going against this frenzied pilot who has seen something, and then kind of talking about this this settlement and getting ready to go there, figuring out what this settlement looks like. I've had a lot of fun with it, and if you are at all interested, I think Moobot has come through. Yeah, Moobot is the last to speak. So you can find Ironheart by Parable Games on BackerKit at the moment. I mentioned at the beginning, it's already done over 100,000 in crowdfunding, which is insane. But it absolutely deserves that, because the art and like the quality, this is like just the physical version of the like little quick start here, and the quality of that is really, really good. So I'm very, very excited about how much better the finished product is going to be. And I can't wait to get into this game and play more of it. I'd love to see like more like story beats, more of these circuits to choose from, expanded kind of roll tables for exploration and things like that. I'm very excited about this game, and you should be too. Also, I know that because I streamed Be Like a Cat last week, and Tim from Critical Kit has been is going to be one of the guest writers for Ironheart, which is really, really exciting. So check out this game. It is a UK based company, as was Critical Kit, and I'm very excited to be kind of spotlighting more UK based creators, so very cool. Speaking of which, my next solo spotlight stream, it will be back on the Thursday, because that's when I normally like to do them. I will be streaming Anna Blackwell's For Small Creatures Such as We, and I am overjoyed to be playing this game. Anna Blackwell is probably one of my favourite solo game writers. So I can't wait to get into this game. It's another sci-fi game. Again, you might be thinking, sci-fi is not normally your thing, Kat, but I don't mind sci-fi. I tend to go for like folklore and horror and things like that, but I do absolutely kind of enjoy the odd sci-fi experience too. So yeah, let's head off here. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I hope for those of you that might have just been kind of lurking and listening, that you've had a good lurking and listening experience. I think the music that I picked today, because I can hear it, it's very chilled out, very like slight space exploration, but also I've kind of gone for a bit of a lo-fi vibe, just because it sold itself to me as a lo-fi solo mech exploration TTRPG. So I was like, let's put some lo-fi in there. So yeah, have a lovely time zone wherever you are. Let's see if I can quickly, just so you can see, Millie has fallen asleep beside me, absolutely conked out. I'm sure she'll get up when I get up in a minute and head down and maybe, oh look, she's twitching, she's dreaming. Oh, she's so cute. So I will see you all again next Thursday, and I will have my streaming schedule out before then, so I might actually be streaming before then, but I cannot remember off the top of my head. So let's say, see you next Thursday, and toodaloo everyone, cheerio, have a lovely evening, /time zone, wherever you are. Bye!